Yo, what it is? What's good? You're now tuned into the PulseWave Report with yours truly, the Outgo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave Price Trigger Report. Man, oh man, busy as a bee again. Been in the lab cooking up some stuff for all the PulseWave subscribers out there. How you liking them post waves this morning? If you were in tune and paying attention and actually read the report when you got it last night, you would be quite happy this morning with your open positions. That's right, the U.S. stock index futures are down this morning. And guess what's up? Bitcoin. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin is up 1,115 points. Let's give it up for the PulseWave Price Trigger Reports. I did tell you in the end of day report that I saw 60,000 in play. This is a critical time now for Bitcoin. We really do need to see a strong close above 60,000 this week. All right, that carries over into next week and gets us ready for the second phase of the Bitcoin bubble, baby. Now, this is a different type of a bubble. This is not like your speculative bubbles of the past. This one has good intentions behind it, meaning that it is based on some reality. All right, so that's why Bitcoin is moving the way it is, and why gold and silver, just like I warned you last night, are getting smashed this morning. Gold is down almost $30 as we speak, and silver is down 60 cents. All right, they're moving in the opposite direction of the crypto market, and for good reason. All right, people are looking at the crypto market as the new safe haven. And they're seeing Bitcoin and some other coins like DOT and Theta, as a safe haven. And in a way, you could even say that they're looking at it as a reserve currency, because the US dollar is really not performing the way that a world reserve currency should perform. Now, this morning, it's up 30 pips at 93.24. However, that is still much, much lower than the euro. All right. The euro this morning is at 117.43, while the US dollar is below par. US dollar has a hard time staying above par. And once again, that is also for very good reason. The U.S. economy is in a world of hurt right now and in a world of trouble because of debt. All right. Private corporations and sovereign countries pretty much own the United States of America. All right. This is what it is. That's why we have had fascism since 1914. Since the Federal Reserve came into being. The Federal Reserve is not federal. It's just a name used to sound like it's a government agency, but it is not. It is a private corporation, all right, that is owned by very, very, very wealthy families, and don't forget, countries. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the way of the West, the wild, wild West. And in case you didn't know, now you know. All right, this is what it is. So we have the threat of rising interest rates as the U.S. bond market continues to topple. This morning, bond futures are at 155.06. That's 155 and 630 seconds, up 14.30 seconds. But the question you should be asking yourself is, how in the world did it move from 153.29, the low this morning, up to the 155 handle? All right, so that is quite a reversal, quite the intraday reversal indeed. You have to ask yourself a question: how does it do that? Well, there's such thing called computers, for those who don't know, and the Federal Reserve has a very sophisticated one. If they were to show off their trading terminal, it would make all other trading terminals pale in comparison. They got the largest trading account in the world, and they can easily point and click, buy up futures contracts, prop up the market, buy up even individual shares of stocks, ETFs, whatever. They have no limitations on what they can do. They can do whatever they want to do, and they do it. All right. They turn on the PPT engine and get to work propping up markets. That's what they do. They backstop and prop up markets. That is also a form of enabling, which is a bad thing because it enables these really large hedge funds to be quite reckless. They become quite reckless. And the reason they're doing it is because they know that they can. They know that the Fed has their back. All right. So they can do whatever they want. Whatever they want. All they have to do or turn on the computer and take care of the exploits that the exchanges have given them. It's just that quick. It's just that simple. All right. So as far as, the situation in the precious metals, we haven't been here before. Traditionally, when the stock market is weak, gold would be strong along with the bond market. So bonds and gold would be strong because it's a flight to quality. People are trying to protect and hedge themselves. But now you're really not seeing that. All right. What you're seeing is the flight to the crypto. And even though the governments of the world pretended to be so against it, now they're tripping over each other to come out with their own crypto, their own blockchain technology that they control. Okay. And while this is happening, on the backdrop of that, you have the shadow governments hustling not to suppress gold and silver markets. Oh, no, 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 no. They're scrambling because they want to take more power. They want more authority. They want more globalism. Okay? It's ridiculous. But this is what we are. Then you have the social engineers creating more chaos within the peasantry. So as long as the peasants are fighting each other and they believe in the lie of systemic racism, they're going to continue to fight each other and not fight the shadow government because they don't want you fighting them. Of course not. So they're going to continue to give you causes to fight for and to fight against. That has nothing to do with them. And the sheeple, the peasantry, is willfully blind and they follow the lead of the mainstream media. The mainstream media is the mouthpiece of the shadow government, and they do exactly what they're told to do and say the things that they're told to say to keep the engine running. All right. So you need to understand the game and how it's played so that you don't get played. But unfortunately, America has gone dark, and it's pretty much too late at this point. I've been warning you about that since I've been on YouTube. I've been warning you. People didn't want to hear it. They wanted to hear pleasant things. They want to hear good things. What can we do? Do you have a solution? I was warning you then that technically speaking, there was no solutions because the people won't do the right thing to turn things around. And 2020 was proof of it. The masses complied with what the government secret forces wanted. They believed the narratives that they put out there for them. No one questioned it. Just like we didn't years ago with the whole climate change debate. when the left didn't want to talk, they just said the science is settled. The science was far from settled, but they said the science is settled, so they didn't have to talk about it, didn't have to debate it, or do any of that stuff. Okay, and this is ridiculous. Just like, you hear terms, the Great Reset. You've been hearing that forever. They've been putting these things out there for you. And I'm sad to have to tell you this for people who think it's a good thing. Nope, the Great Reset is the latest deceptive euphemism for totalitarian socialism that is being promoted by yet more and more wealthy corporate elitists who think they can centrally plan the entire world economy and everybody in it. And just like every other script, people are falling right in line with it and falling for it. They're going right along with it. They believe the hype. That's why I said there was nothing that could be done. Because the facts and the truth are not aligning in these above scenarios. For instance, you probably haven't been hearing that there was a Seattle Black Lives Matter activist charged with hate crime after harassing multiple Asian Americans. That's right. You're not really hearing too much outcry from the public about Black Lives Matter activists attacking Asian Americans. What's up with that? See, they're telling you, they're trying to divert your attention there. They're giving you an enemy. They're saying your enemy is not the government, the shadow government, and the elitists of the world that control the shadow government. No, no, no. Your enemy is each other. Your enemy is a white man. Your enemy is an Asian man. That's your enemy. Go get them. Go get them. That's what they tell you. They don't want you looking at them. Just like I told you in the last election. What did I warn you? I said, you guys, if you want, this is your last chance. This is your last stop. All right, you're at the end of the line on the train. There are no more stations after this station. This is the last stop. What did I tell you? I said, you need to vote out every Democrat and every Republican and vote independent if you want to have at least a fighting chance to turn things around. Nobody listen. Nobody listen. Nope. Democrats not just won the White House, they won pretty much everything they wanted to win. And they keep winning. It's messed up. And so we have all these things happening right now. And they're slowly, incrementally stripping away all of your constitutional rights. You're coming after your gun. The guns is the last thing. Taking away free speech was easy because they just went ahead and just deplatformed everyone off social media. And then mainstream media doesn't carry fair and balanced reporting. It's all one-sided. So that was easy for them to do. They could do that by proxy. But the real meat and potatoes is the guns. Because then once they take everyone's guns away and disarm the public and arm the criminals, then they can truly come in and lay down the iron fist that they have prepared for you. So that's what they've been waiting to do. Okay. And it's messed up, but it's gonna happen. They're gonna take those guns. It's going to happen. All right, you need to understand this. Every decision that your elected officials are making is going to destroy every social fabric of the country even more. It's just the way it is. All right. Now, they even got people excited and to think about trading because what they saw going on in GameStop and other stocks that were going up for no reason, because fundamentally they had no reason to go up. They were in bear markets for the longest time. Then all of a sudden you got Reddit and other things coming in and pumping up the stocks. And if you really do the knowledge to it and peep the science behind it, all you have is people who don't know any better acting as a proxy for the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve don't have to spend that much money if the people are propping up the market for it. You're putting money behind bankrupt companies. And how is that going for you? So all it did was make them come up with more rules. That it created a crisis, problem, action, solution. Okay, what's the problem? Bankrupt stocks are going up hundreds of dollars a share. Okay, what's the reaction? Outrage from the elite. We can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this hedge fund is blowing up. I mean, they needed to blame someone other than the people that have the fiscal responsibility at the hedge fund. So they had to say, see, the only reason why I'm blowing up is because the peasants came after me and ruined my plans. They did this. They exposed this. We have to do something. They had to come up with a backstory to protect the hedge funds that were manipulating a situation, taking advantage of an anomaly allowed within the law and the way that the certain instruments in the market are designed. So they took advantage of that and then blamed you for it. So that they effectively blamed you for their losses. Then they made you show up on Capitol Hill and you had to be grilled by Maxine Waters. And then they say, okay, we're going to come up with a way with more regulations and rules to keep the peasantry out of the market. Very clever the way they've been moving. Very clever. And people fell for it. And then what happens when the peasantry loses all their money? Then they blame Wall Street. I lost all my money because I listened to you and I was on the Reddit forum and blah, blah, blah. See, again, that's not real trading. What they're doing on the Reddit forums is really no different than betting and gambling. It's not trading. It's not trading off of technicals or fundamentals. It's trading off of masses. It's what technically is supposed to be illegal in stocks, but it's not anymore. Remember the first movie, Wall Street? He went to jail for that. They called it insider trading because he had a pump and dump strategy. All right. He'd find a stock that he wanted to operate in. Then he would get on the phone and get all of his people involved, and then they would all come in and pile in and make the stocks look like they're movement and got some real movement behind them. And then after they go up a little bit, then they hurry up and dump it on you. They get out and leave you holding the bag. Pump and dump. And that's supposed to be illegal. But now it's not. But when you get a big movement of people to come and do that, it can be disruptive. It can become disruptive. So everything is corrupt at this point. No one is really trading when you talk about these elitists and these, elite funds, these sovereign wealth funds, private equity funds, hedge funds, whatever you want to call it. They're not really trading. They're not really trend following. What they're doing is they're manipulating the markets using the oldest trick in the book, which is the whole pump and dump, using volume, having a volume of following to get active, to push a particular stock higher, and then they get out. They try to get out around the top and leave you holding the bag. That's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. All right. And anyone who is not part of the team, they don't know what's really going on. So they're just left holding the bag looking stupid. Look at all the hedge funds that were short at $20 a share, and today GameStop's at $187.57 a share. All right. So talk about a squeeze, a short squeeze. That was once in a lifetime short squeeze. So this is how they have been manipulating. They have all these manipulative devices operating in the market simultaneously. So you have corporations, Wall Street firms acting as quasi-government, an arm of the Federal Reserve, by going in and keeping gold and silver, suppressed. That's already, been made news for years now, and nothing has changed. They outed it, but nothing has changed. It's still happening. And so now you still have the artificial manipulation in the precious metals industry, but then you also have other situations at hand, which is now people are starting to see the precious metals as something else. You still got your stackers, they're still stacking, but it's not the way it used to be. It's a whole different situation now. People are looking at other alternatives because, let's be honest, gold and silver markets have been around a lot longer than cryptos, but already the crypto market is larger, several times larger than the gold and silver market combined. And you even have ways now you can actually buy things with crypto. You still can't do that with gold and silver. I can't go to my local grocery store and say, when they ring me up and say, okay, that'll be $224, and then I pull out a bar of gold, or I pull out a bunch of silver coins and say, here you go. They're going to look at me like I'm crazy and say, nope, that is not an acceptable medium of exchange. We need cash, or do you have something plastic? Do you have something electronic? See, we've been trained for the electronic for decades now, in the form of a MasterCard or a Visa or a Discover card or a Diners card, whatever. You fill in the blank on the card. American Express, whatever. All that is digital money. It's a card. It's digital money on a card. That's all it is. So we've been trained with the credit cards for decades. So now we got cryptos. Cryptos now, you can get a credit card and you can go and you can shop with your cryptos. Convert some of your cryptos to USD and get shopping. That's how they do it. You can't do that with gold and silver. All right, that's not so readily available. And in some cases, they have cards so you can actually pay with your Bitcoin. You can literally pay with your Bitcoin. You don't need to convert it into dollars. You can literally pay with Bitcoin, which is pretty incredible. So it's already become it's already taken a mainstream effect this early. And big money, like I said, is behind it. A lot of money, a lot more money behind that than it is for the gold and silver. Crypto was fought against hard, but not really. It was just with mouth. All right, you had them speaking out against it with their mouths, but they weren't really doing anything about it. I mean, this is how you know your government cannot be trusted, because they lie to you all the time. They told you that crypto was a fad and it was going away. Bitcoin wasn't about nothing. It was going to go to zero. They laughed at you when it hit $20,000 and dropped to $3,000 immediately. They laughed and said, see, that's why this will never be adopted. So while they were doing all that talking, all that jawbone and talking out the side of their neck, what were they actually physically doing? They were quietly building up their own internal structure. They were already building up their own blockchain. They're already in the process of taking their their country currencies and turning them into a digital platform. They were already designing a Bitcoin futures contract that you didn't know about. They were already planning to add even more cryptos at the exchange level. They were already planning to centralize the crypto market. They were already planning and writing. Think about it this way. How did they come up with laws so quick? They went from telling you that Bitcoin is not an asset, that Bitcoin is not a currency, that Bitcoin is not a security, to saying, okay, so this is how we're going to tax your Bitcoin. How can you tax something that you said doesn't exist? It's not an asset. It's not a currency. It's not a security. But now it is a security. Now it is an asset. See what I'm saying? So they were saying one thing while doing something else. That is what you call deceptive. That is deceit. That is a lie. They were lying to you the entire time that they were speaking against it. Then Maxine Waters even said that Bitcoin was a threat to national security because it threatened the US dollar, because it was outperforming the US dollar. Just like it's the same person who went to saying Bitcoin ain't about nothing. It's only used by gangsters and criminals and drug dealers and people who traffic in human beings. Well, then, if that's the case, if that's true, then what does that make the U.S. government? Since the U.S. government does have Bitcoin ETFs and Bitcoin futures, what does that make them? What does that make the U.S. government when you have government funds that have been operating in the Bitcoin cash market forever? Not Bitcoin Cash, the altcoin. I'm talking about the cash market or the spot market when it comes to operating directly into Bitcoin. How do you explain that then? See, this is all psyop, ladies and gentlemen. All right, because the government is afraid of the people. Okay. The number one thing that terrorizes the U.S. government in this world, and this is why they've been cracking down on gun control and freedom of speech, is because the thing they fear the most is not a terrorist cell. The thing they fear the most is your freedom. You know how they always made you think all this time that, foreign governments hate the U.S. because the thing they hate about us is our freedom? That's what they led you to believe. Oh, they hate our freedom. No, your own government hates your freedom. That's why they've been doing everything they can to attack it and to get rid of it. Want to know why? Because freedom requires you to think for yourself. Think the thoughts they hand you is what they want you to do. They want you watching the mainstream media. They want you to do that so you can get your daily dose of psychological manipulation. They are afraid. Freedom comes with free speech. According to them, 99.98% of all speech is hate speech, and hate speech is objectively defined as speech that you subjectively hate, which is all speech that represents thoughts that don't come from the one true source that you get your thoughts from. That will be your government. Your government wants you to think the thoughts that they hand you. So turn on your TV. It's like a psychological bread line where you can get your very nourishing thought handouts from your local government. And that should be the only place you get them from. They're afraid that freedom will make you uncomfortable at times. They're afraid that with freedom, no one is controlling you. Because the word free means to be unattached, to be not controlled, to be free from control. They're afraid because freedom requires self-responsibility. They don't want you being responsible. They want you being irresponsible, and they want you to be dependent upon them. They're afraid that with freedom, you constantly learn and grow. They don't want you doing that. They want you to only know what they tell you is truth. They're afraid because with freedom, you can't just print money. All right? You can't. You have to use sound economic financial principles. Okay? And they know this, so they gotta try to use propaganda to detrain you and desensitize you from all the government spending, telling you, oh, we can do this forever. Don't worry about it. The laws of economics don't apply here. Okay? They know that with freedom, you can protest, but you can't peacefully protest. They don't want you to do that. They know with freedom, you're allowed to not trust those who try to control you, and they want you to do the opposite of that. They know that freedom gives you equal opportunity, not equality of outcome. Leaving people's outcomes to what they earn through work and effort levels promotes hate and incentivizes prosperity in their minds. So with all that said, what should you do? Well, you know, communism needs your vote. Freedom destroys lives, robs people of their dignity, and takes away their birthright of being controlled. You see how easily they manipulate speech, ladies and gentlemen? It's so easy for them to do. That's why you can't let them. Sometimes I do feel, though, that I'm talking to a brick wall because no one's going to listen. They're going to do whatever they want to do, which is not the right thing to do. And it is quite sad. All right. But this is where we are. All right. This is where we are. So the question is, what y'all going to do about it? Something has to be done at some point. But I guess we're to the point now where people have been so psychologically brainwashed and manipulated that it doesn't matter what you do and say anymore. They can't hear you. They become deaf to everything. That's why I've been so pessimistic, ladies and gentlemen. Not because I'm a pessimist. I'm quite the optimist, but I'm also a realist, and I know what I see, and you know it too. You can shout and scream all you want, but you know it. You know it's true. All right. So with that being said, you guys, that's all I got for now. Remember, PulseWaveTrading.com. Come learn how to extract money from these markets. Now, like never before, you need a second income stream. You can't just rely on your job, all right, because you don't know if that one day will be taken away from you in this current environment. So with that being said, smash that like button. And remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.